One day decided to go ice fishing. So he found some ice, he drilled a hole, he dropped his line down, and he's fishing along and he hears this voice. And the voice says, "There are no fish there." Well, Murphy ignores the voice and he keeps on fishing, and he hears the voice again. "There are no fish there." Finally, Murphy can't ignore that voice any longer. So he looks up at the voice, he answers the voice, he says, "Are you God?" And the voice says, "No, I'm the manager of the ice rink." Thank you. You know, Mrs. Casey asked Mrs. Murphy, she says, "What's the difference between kinky and erotica?" Kinky and erotica. Mrs. Murphy thought for a minute, she says, "Well, I'll explain it to you this way. If Patty tickles you with a feather, that's erotica. If he uses a whole chicken, that's kinky." Mrs. Murphy went to the doctor to have her pregnancy terminated, and the doctor says, "You're too late. He starts school tomorrow." You know, Mr. and Mrs. Murphy were sleeping in their beds in the middle of the night, and they were woken up by a thief. And the thief had a gun. He held it to Mrs. Murphy's head. He said, "Put your hands up." He says, "What's your name?" She says, "My name is Elizabeth Murphy." He says, "Elizabeth Murphy? Well, you're not going to believe this, Elizabeth. My own mother's name is Elizabeth, and today is her birthday. And because of that, Elizabeth, I'm not going to harm you." Then he turned the gun to Murphy. He says, "What's your name?" He says, "My name is Patty Murphy, but my friends call me Elizabeth." You know, Murphy's uncle died, ladies and gentlemen. Murphy was overcome with grief. So he decided to buy a dog. So he looked up dogs in a classified. He found a golden retriever pedigree for 55 euros. So he thought to himself, this is awfully cheap. He called up the woman. He says, "Is this correct, a full pedigree for 55 euros? She says, "The dog is fantastic. You come down, take a look at him for yourself." So Murphy went down to the woman. He knocked on her door. He says, I'm here to see the pedigree, you know. But if it's not a full pedigree, I'm going to be on my way." She says, "I told you it's a full pedigree. Go down and ask him yourself." So he walks downstairs, and he goes up to the dog. He says, "Now, what's this about you being a pedigree?" And the dog says, "Pedigree? I'm twice as good as that. Pedigree. Last year, I won the Golden Cruft show in London. The year before that, I was a police dog of the year. The year before that, I was police dog of the year. And not only last week, I saved 2 children from drowning." And Murphy says, "That's extraordinary." So he goes back up and he says, "Now, why would you want to sell a dog like that for only 55 euros? And the woman says, "Because he's a liar, that's why." Thank you. Murphy went to the pub one evening, and he never came back. He just went missing. And after about 4 years, Mrs. Murphy decided to report him missing. So she went down to the police station, and she says, "I'd like to report my husband missing." And the policeman said, "Well, can you give us a description?" And he said, "Well, he's 6'6", blonde hair, blue eyes, 56-inch chest and big muscles. And her little boy is with her. He goes, "Mommy, that doesn't sound like Daddy." She says, "Who wants him back?" Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't have any more Irish jokes for you, but I would like to do a couple of impressions, if that's okay. A couple of celebrity impressions. You tell me if they're okay. You tell me if they're okay. Let's try Jack Nicholson. He just retired from acting. Jack Nicholson. Put the hat down here for a second. "Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I decided to quit acting and maybe hang out at a Laker game and watch Kobe Bryant bring the whole team down." How about Al Pacino? Al Pacino is Son of a Woman. My name is Colonel Frank Slade, U.S. Army retired. Charlie, you ever find yourself face to face with danger, you just look danger right in the eye, and you say, hooah! Godfather.
I want to thank all the heads of the 5 families for coming here today. From Brooklyn we have Philip Italia. From the Bronx we have Carmine Corleone. Buonasera. Buonasera.
Thank you. How about Arnold Schwarzenegger? Arnold Schwarzenegger.
You know, the last couple of years ago that I became the governor of California, and they said to me, they said, we're going to pay you $180,000. I said, get out of here, I don't need it. I make $20 million a movie. Get out of here. Get out of here.
You know, I think Robert De Niro is getting a little too old for action movies or gangster movies, right? This is De Niro now. He's like, you talking to me? You talking to me? You talking to me? I couldn't hear you. My hearing aid was still I couldn't hear it. How about Katharine Hepburn? Katharine Hepburn? No, man, you're such an old poo. Oh, you're my knight in shining armor. Jackie Mason. You know Jackie Mason?
Yes.
You know, there's a big difference between Jews and Gentiles. I don't know if you heard about it. First of all, Gentiles are lazy. They're lazy. If I go to the city, you see signs. They say men working, men working. I never see any men working. All I see is 12 Gentiles sitting down eating sandwiches. That's all I see. I don't know if you heard about it. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. I don't know. And how about Vince Vaughn? You guys know Vince Vaughn?
Yes.
All right, Vince Vaughn from Wedding Crashers. Yeah, you know, Janice, I apologize if I don't seem real eager to jump into a forced, awkward, intimate situation people like to call dating, you know? I don't like the feeling you're sitting there and you're wondering, do I have food on my face? Am I eating enough? Am I talking too much? Am I interested? Am I not interested? Do I want to be interested? Now you're not interested. So all of a sudden I'm starting to get interested. You know, I really feel awkward about the whole thing. And wouldn't like to forget our president, Mr. Barack Obama. Did you see the debates with, he's like, well, the things that Governor Romney are saying are just not true. They're just not true. That's all. And how about Christopher Walken? You remember Christopher Walken? Good night, moon. Good night, room. Good night, cow jumping over the moon. Yo. For my final one, let's try Denzel Washington. You know Denzel Washington? He's always like cross-examining you. He's like looking at you like this, right? Yeah, all right, okay, all right. So you sure or you're not sure? Or you are sure? Or you're not? Or you are? Or you're not? Okay, all right, okay. Okay. And that's it for me, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.